all the participants who have taken part in oral presentations are requested to be ready for the presentations. The participants who are having the code number P3 to P10 will wait here in seminar hall only, and participants who are having the code number from P19 to P32 will please all are requested to gather in the classroom number 214R. Our volunteers will guide you to reach the classroom. So please occupy your respective places for presentations. Who is having code number P3?
Of SMBT College of Pharmacy. So today we have discussed a important and a challenging topic, which is cardiotoxicity of the anti-cancer drug. So why it is challenging? Because याचा जो स्टडी आहे हा खूप लिमिटेड आहे आणि याचं सोल्युशन बऱ्यापैकी भेटलं नाही, तर त्याचं सोल्युशन आपण या व्हिडिओमध्ये डिस्कस करणार आहे. सो किमोथेरपी एक अशी केमिकल थेरपी आहे ज्याच्याने आपण कॅन्सर सेल्स वगैरे त्यांना किल करण्यासाठी हेल्प करतो. कॅन्सर सेल्स हे ऑन्कोलॉजी आणि प्रोग्नोसिस पेशंटसाठी हे खूप इझी झालं आहे. पण किमोथेरपीचे एक अदर साईडला बघितलं तर त्याचे खूप एक साईड इफेक्ट्स पण आहे. जसं त्या साईड इफेक्ट्सला आपण कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी पण म्हणतो. कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी हे खूप बऱ्यापैकी होतं आणि इंटरप्शन आणि डिस्कंटिन्युएशन ऑफ द कॅन्सर थेरपीसाठी पण हे युजफुल आहे. किमोथेरपी हे कॅन्सर सेल्स खूप लवकर पसरवतं आणि कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी हे 3 टाईपने होतं. एक तर डोस कोणतं ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेशन देतो याच्याने होतं. वी डिस्कस अ करंट इमेजिंग स्ट्रॅटेजी फॉर मॅनेजिंग द कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी. कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी हे हार्टसाठी खूप हार्मफुल आहे. कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी झाली समजा कोणाला तर त्याच्याने ॲबनॉर्मल थिंग्स होती, हाय ब्लड प्रेशर होतं, ब्लड क्लॉट होता, हायपर टेन्शन होते आणि बऱ्याचपैकी खूप काही ॲडवर्स इफेक्ट्स हे बघायला भेटतात. कार्डिओटॉक्सिसिटी हे पटकन हार्ट डॅमेज करतं. जेव्हा एखाद्याला कॅन्सर होतो, एखाद्या व्यक्तीला जर कॅन्सर येतो तर त्याला आपण अँटी कॅन्सर ड्रग देतो. पण अँटी कॅन्सर ड्रगचा एक साईड इफेक्ट असा आहे की तो हार्टला पण अफेक्ट करतो. तर हार्टला अफेक्ट करतो, मग आपण त्याला अँटी कॅन्सर का देतो? कारण हार्टपेक्षा जास्त कॅन्सर्सला आपण इम्पॉर्टन्स देतो. जर कॅन्सर झाला तर आपण वाचू नाही शकत, पण जर हार्टचा डिसीज झाला तर आपण हार्ट रिप्लेस करून बदलू शकतो. तर त्याच्या अँटी कॅन्सरचे एक क्लासिफिकेशन आहे अँथ्रासायक्लिन्स. अँथ्रासायक्लिन्समध्ये आपण मेनली डॉक्झिरुबिसिन आणि ड्युआरुबिसिन हे ड्रग देतो. जेव्हा अँथ्रासायक्लिन्स देतो तेव्हा एक अफेक्ट होतो, जसं कॅन्सर थेरपी रिलेटेड कार्डिओ डिस्फंक्शन. हे 2 टाईपचे असतात, एक तर अर्ली असतं आणि ॲक्यूट असतं. अर्लीमध्ये ॲक्यूट असतं, ॲक्यूट म्हणजे एखाद्या वीकमध्ये किंवा डेजमध्ये होतं आणि क्रोनिक म्हणजे वर्षानंतर होतं. अँथ्रासायक्लिन induce heart damage, infuse effects on topoisomerase enzyme. डॉक्झिरुबिसिन हे काय करतं, डायरेक्ट टॉपोआयसोमरेज एन्झाईम्सला डायरेक्ट बाइंड करतं आणि त्याच्यामुळं हार्ट डॅमेज हे होतं. डॉक्झिरुबिसिन हे P53 सेल्सला डायरेक्ट अटॅच करतं आणि त्याच्यामुळे सेल्स डेथ होते. तो ह्या ऑनगोईंग रिसर्चमध्ये ह्या रिव्ह्यूमध्ये 2 टॉपिकवर मेन फोकस आहे. तो म्हणजे रिड्युसिंग द हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स ऑन द हार्ट while maintaining the ability to fight cancer. These are the anti-cancer classification. डॉक्झिरुबिसिनचे ॲडवर्स इफेक्ट इन दिस केस. आता रिसर्चमध्ये आम्ही जेव्हा रिसर्च केला होता माईन्सवर, तेव्हा डॉक्झिरुबिसिनचा डोस दिला होता रॅटला. रॅटला 1.6 mg अल्टरनेट डोस दिला होता. त्याच्यामुळं त्याचा माईसचा जो हार्ट आहे तो फेल केला होता. आणि त्यानंतर जर याचं सोल्युशन जर आपण बघितलं तर ते सॉफ्टलेस ॲप्लेटर्सनी गुड ॲपल असतो, ज्याला मराठीत आपण कौट म्हणतात, ते कौटचं एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट काढलं होतं आणि ते पण माईसला देऊन बघितलं होतं. तर तिथं रिझल्ट आहे, तिथं नॉर्मल जेव्हा हार्ट असतं त्याचं 600 to 700 BPM मध्ये तो हार्टबीट होतो, जे 10 टाइम्स ग्रेटर असतं ह्युमन बिंग्सपेक्षा. आणि जेव्हा डॉक्झिरोबिसिन दिलं होतं आम्ही माईसला, तर तिथं डॉक्झिरोबिसिन जेव्हा दिलं होतं तेव्हा त्याचं हार्ट रेट ही खूप कमी झाली होती, नॉर्मलपेक्षा खूप कमी झाली होती. आणि मग नंतर जेव्हा वूड ॲपल म्हणजे कवटाचं जेव्हा एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट बनवून दिलं होतं त्यानंतर त्याची जी हार्टबीट आहे ही नॉर्मल झाली होती. तर याचं सोल्युशन फक्त एक आहे, जेव्हा आपण डॉक्झिरोबिसिन एक अँटी कॅन्सर म्हणून देतो तेव्हा ते डायरेक्ट हार्टला अफेक्ट करतं. पण जर आपण त्या वूड ॲपल म्हणजे कवटाचं जर एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट बनवून जर त्याच्यासोबत दिलं तर हार्ट हे नॉर्मल होऊन जातं. तर आपण वूड ॲपलच आवड देतो. आपण वूड ॲपलच का देतो, कारण त्याच्यात एक नायट्रिक ऑक्साईड हे खूप हाय अमाऊंटमध्ये असतं इतर फ्रूट्सपेक्षा. आणि त्याच्यामुळं त्याची हार्टबीट पण ही होती, इफेक्टिव्ह होती आणि हार्टला जास्त काही प्रॉब्लेम्स नाही. वूड ॲपल हे एक मात्र असं फ्रूट आहे की ज्याच्याने ना अँटी इन्फ्लॅमेटरी अँटीऑक्सिडंट हे त्याच्यामध्ये हाय अमाऊंटमध्ये प्रेझेंट असतं. आणि वूड ॲपलचं एक बेनिफिशन हे की त्याच्यामध्ये व्हिटॅमिन सी असतं, त्याच्यामध्ये हार्टची पंपिंग ॲबिलिटी ही खूप छान होती. थँक्यू.
काय केलं होतं सर?
त्याच्यामध्ये ना एक जेव्हा आपण
ॲक्टिव्हिटी मेजर केली त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त काही इम्पॉर्टंट असतं?
सर इम्पॉर्टंट तर काय नसतं, पण एक मात्र सोल्युशन भेटलं होतं.
व्हिच मार्कर म्हणजे बायोमार्कर तुम्ही
म्हणजे हार्टचं
ट्रीटमेंट दिल्यानंतर कशावर तरी चेंजेस झाला ना?
हो,
ते काय चेंज केलं?
हार्टची बीट आम्ही ते ॲनालाइज करून
कशी केली?
हिमोपॅथी
हां त्याच्यामध्ये काय केलं?
हार्टबीट चेक केली आणि त्याचा तो वेट वगैरे हार्टचा तो चेक केला.
Hello everyone, my name is Riya Gupta and I am today representing the topic regulatory requirement for clinical trials of medical device ensuring safety and efficacy. First, let us see the content of this presentation. First, introduction of medical devices, classification of medical device, then its importance, phases of clinical trials, ethics and regulatory requirements, and we see the example of one medical device. First, the introduction of medical device. As per US FDA, the medical device is an instrument, apparatus, implement, machine or contrivance, implant, in vitro reagent or similar or other related article including any component, part or accessory. Means it is an implement, means it is used to perform the particular task, and the contrivance designated as the delivery of the medical devices. In vitro reagent means it is we can use to analyze the biological samples. It is a special medical device which is used for internal as well as external use for testing diseases in human as well as animals. Next, moving classification of medical device. The medical devices are classified as, according to FDA, the classification is based on the methods of control necessary to check the effectiveness and the safety of the medical device as class 1 device, class 2 device and class 3 device. Class 1 medical device, they are subjected to only general control and they are exempted from the 520K pre-market notification. They generally not require the clinical trials. Example of these: elastic bandages, examination gloves and handheld surgical instrument. Class 2 device, they carry moderate risk to the patient health and they are required the 520K pre-market notification, means the 510K pre-market notification in which the manufacturer of medical device must notify to the regulatory body about an medical device after few days or 90 days, the manufacturer
Hello.
Example of class 2 device is power wheelchair diagnostic ECG. Class 3 device which poses high risk to the patient. So it requires more clinical data or clinical trials for ensuring the safety of the patient. Also must requires the pre-market approval. Example of that is artificial heart valve or the pacemakers. Next,
what is the importance of this medical device? Which first it ensures the safety and effectiveness. Second one is patient that improve the patient outcome by uncovering the new medical treatments. Improve the medical knowledge, the collection of the clinical data that innovative for new technologies such as to treat the modern diseases. Enhance the future medical technology. They diagnosis and early detection of diseases. Faster and more efficient healthcare delivery. Example is glucometers, which used to use by diabetic patients, which check the glucose level day to day or time to time in a few minutes also. Then they improve the patient quality of life. Immediate monitoring and management. Then what are the phases of this clinical trials? They includes mainly three phases, mainly the pivotal study, pivotal study and post-marketing study. The pivotal study is also known as feasibility study. The pilot study is also known as feasibility study. Pilot study is also known as confirmatory clinical trials. Post-marketing studies also known as post-market surveillance. First, the preclinical testing, in which the medical device is tested on the animals, in which there is no human participation. They ensure the safety and feasibility of this medical device. Then pilot study, which is a feasibility study, or in which there is a small scale study in which only 10 to 30 human volunteers are involved. On this, the medical device are tested, in which there is a early human testing to assess the safety and initial effectiveness. This phase gives the preliminary data on safety and device performance. Second one is pivotal study, which is also known as confirmatory clinical trial, which involves the large scale study in which the 100 to 500 human volunteers are involved. On this, the medical device are tested. Next one is post-marketed surveillance or post-approval studies. They monitor the long-term monitoring long-term, and after the regulatory approval, they perform the real-world performance after the regulatory approval and marketing, in which the thousands of users uses the medical device. Next, ethics and regulatory requirement. First one, concept and feasibility, in which the manufacturing of the medical device must identify the medical need as per the medical device are constructed. And then we have to second step, preclinical research and risk assessment, in which the risk analysis of the medical device is done as per the ISO standards, and biocompatibility testing, which as per the ISO standards. Then regulatory classification and approval pathway. According to their risk to the patient, the medical device are classified on the basis of whether it is class 1 or class 2 or class 3 medical device. Then clinical research is also necessary for that. Early we discussed that phases. Regulatory submission and approval. Upon getting the preclinical data or clinical data, from that we have to prepare a strategy for submission of the safety related data to the regulatory affairs, that is FDA. Then manufacturing quality assurance, in which the medical device are constructed with compliance with good manufacturing practices. After that, the post-market surveillance and compliance. After getting the approval from the regulatory bodies, the study of the medical device is done their adverse action and post-marketed clinical follow-up. These are comes under this. After getting this, the medical device, after getting the pre-market approval, then the medical device is ready to marketing. These are ethics and regulatory requirement for that. One of the medical devices, electrocardiogram, we discussed. What is the working of that? The device uses the electrode to detect the heart activity, heart electrical activity. It records the electrocardiogram signals in real time and sends the data to display system, that is smartphone or cloud storage. AI and software that analyze the ECG pattern to detect the abnormalities. For that, they required a 510K clearance. After manufacturing of this ECG, the manufacturer must notify the regulatory body, and then after some days they get a 510K clearance from that, and this medical device are ready to marketing. Advantages of this: continuous heart monitoring, the early detection of arrhythmia, various diseases or abnormalities are detected by this electrocardiogram. Disadvantages: it has a limited accuracy and it is the battery dependent. Thank you.
Next participant, P5.
We are presenting the comparative analysis of medical device regulation across the market. So first of all, medical device is the essential for the diagnosis, treatment, and monitoring the disease, which are used for the disease diagnosis of disease. Regulatory compliance ensures the safety, quality, and effectiveness of the medical device. And the different different countries having the different regulatory frameworks, such as the FDA for USA, European Union MDR, NMPA for China, PMDA for Japan, and CDSCO for India, which approves the medical devices according to this regulatory aspects. Purpose of comparing key market regulations. So, understanding regulatory differences, each country having the unique approval procedure and unique regulatory bodies, facilitating global market entry, which ensures that which allows the manufacturer easily entries to international markets, optimizing product development strategies, which ensures that the products are designed for the medical for the diagnosis of disease, reducing the compliance cost and timing, which reduces the म्हणजे टायमिंग आणि कॉस्ट रिड्यूस करतो ते, ensuring the patient safety and product quality, encouraging the regulatory harmonization such as the IMDRF, AMDSAP, and ISO 13485. Key regulatory bodies. There are various regulatory bodies such as the Food and Drug Administration for USA, European Union for medical device regulations, which म्हणजे MDR ही आधी MDD होती, मेडिकल डिवाइस डायरेक्टिव्ह होती, ती नंतर रिप्लेस केली MDRने. नंतर या नॅशनल मेडिकल प्रोडक्ट्स ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेशन फॉर चायना, जपानची PMDA फार्मास्युटिकल अँड मेडिकल डिवाइस एजन्सी, विच अंडर्स द family, which under the health and family welfare of their government. CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, which comes under the health and family welfare government of India, which headquarters is located in New Delhi. Then classification of medical devices. They are classified on the basis of risk. So class 1 devices is low risk, class 2 devices is moderate risk, and class 3 is high risk. And their examples are bandages, stethoscopes. Class 2 devices is the blood pressure monitors, and class 3 devices are the ventilators, pacemakers. There are in European Union class 1 also same examples, class 2A and class 2B and class 3. Class 2A is the lower moderate risk devices and class 2B is the higher moderate risk devices. Class 3 is the higher, and China, NMPA, they also classify on the basis of risk class 1, 2, 3. Japan class 1, 2, 3 and India A, B, C, D. A is the low risk, B is the moderate risk and C is the high risk and D is the highest risk devices. So approval procedure for USA 510K clearance, PMA and D novo. D novo for the novel devices, PMA is the pre-marketed approval procedure, and 510K clearance which are for the devices who म्हणजे जे असे डिव्हाइसेससाठी असतं ते की आपण एक डिव्हाइस जर असेल आणि त्याचं ऑलरेडी एक्झिस्टर असेल मार्केटमध्ये तर फक्त ते त्याचे मॅन्युफॅक्चररने त्याला डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट करून दिलं पाहिजे की याची सेफ्टी आणि त्याचं इक्विव्हॅलंट सेम ॲज द प्रिव्हियस डिव्हाइस. युरोपियन युनियनमध्ये CE मार्किंग अँड नोटिफाय बॉडीज, चायनामध्ये लोकल क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स फॉर हाय रिस्क डिव्हाइसेस, जपानमध्ये थर्ड पार्टी सर्टिफिकेशन TMDA रिव्ह्यू. थर्ड पार्टी सर्टिफिकेशन मीन्स RCB रजिस्ट्रेशन सेंट्रल बोर्ड, त्याच्याकडून ते आपल्याला सर्टिफिकेशन करून घ्यावं लागतं. आणि इन इंडिया इम्पोर्ट लायसन्सिंग लोकल ट्रायल्स फॉर क्लास C and D मीन्स हाय रिस्क आणि हायेस्ट रिस्क फॉर डिव्हाइस. then clinical trials requirements, investigational device exemption for new devices. European Union साठी require clinical evaluations for CE marking. NMPA mandatory local clinical trials for class 2 and 3 drugs means moderate आणि high risk devices साठी. जपानमध्ये specific clinical trials for high risk devices आणि local trials required for high risk devices in India. Post-marketing surveillance which ensures that the ongoing monitoring of the medical devices which are already approved by the FDA, which are useful for the adverse event, safety updates and recalls the product, and then compliance monitoring systems in each country. Key challenges in global regulatory compliance, different country having the different regulation bodies, so एक आपल्यासाठी चॅलेंज असू शकतं. हाय कॉस्ट आणि लेंदी अप्रुव्हल प्रोसेस, प्रत्येक अथॉरिटीची एक प्रोसेस असेल ती प्रत्येक लेंदी असेल आपल्याला. ॲडॉप्टिंग टू इव्हॉल्विंग द कम्प्लायन्स लॉज अँड एक्झाम्पल्स, जे MDDचं MDR झालं त्याच्यामुळे प्रत्येक आता जे मॅन्युफॅक्चरर असतात त्यांना ते लॉज परत चेंज करायला लागतं. आणि हँडलिंग पोस्ट मार्केटिंग सर्व्हलन्स डिफिकल्ट. ग्लोबल हार्मोनायझेशन एफर्ट्स, IMDRF एक म्हणजे एक ग्रुप असतो जो मेडिकल डिव्हाइस रेग्युलेशनचा, जो की हार्मोनाइज वर्क अँड अलाइन टुगेदर फॉर डिव्हाइसेस, जे 2012मध्ये ग्लोबल हार्मोनायझेशन टास्क फोर्सला रिप्लेस केलेलं आहे त्यांनी, जे आपल्याला यूजफुल आहे पेशंट सेफ्टी आणि त्याचं जे ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आहे ते इझी होतं. MDSAP हे एक सिंगल ऑडिट प्रोग्राम आहे विच मॅन्डेटरी फॉर द कॅनडा जर MDSAP जर केलं नाही तर ते कुठल्याच डिव्हाइसला अप्रूव्ह करत नाही. आणि ISO 13485 हे क्वालिटी मॅनेजमेंट स्टँडर्ड आहे. सो कन्क्लुजन, रेग्युलेटरी compliance ensures safety, quality and market approval. Regulatory compliance ensures that the safety, quality and market approval, also effectiveness medical devices. Different markets have unique regulations but share common principles. Harmonization efforts such as the IMDRF, MDSAP and aim to simplify compliance. Understanding these frameworks helps manufacturer to simplify approval and reducing the cost.
How you ensure to meet all the quality regulatory requirements by assuring quality and suppose there is a how you come to know that your regulatory compliance is meet or not meet or not up to the standard?
सर पहिली गोष्ट आपल्याला ज्या कंट्रीमध्ये ते मार्केटमध्ये करायचं आपण त्या रेग्युलेटरीज जे ॲस्पेक्ट्स आहेत त्याचे जे गाईडलाईन्स त्या गाईडलाईन्सप्रमाणे ते मेडिकल डिव्हाइसेस आहेत त्याची प्रॉपर मॅन्युफॅक्चर करून आणि मग ते पोस्ट मार्केट सर्वेलन्समध्ये आपल्याला कळेल की ते रेग्युलेटरी कंप्लायन्सला फॉलो करतो.
Post market surveillance, they do
सर त्यावेळेला आपण ते
any mechanism to see our as an organization we are making our regulatory requirements or we
sir,
are
European
non-compliant in terms of RA. So is there any mechanism to know whether this organization is meeting the regulatory requirements? How we come to know whether we are meeting, we are far or we are bottom? Is there a mechanism? Suppose you are working as a quality assurance manager or manager, and as an organization, you are having the responsibility, right, to ensure the
सर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपण त्या रेग्युलेटरी जे त्याच्या ऑथॉरिटी असते त्या ऑथॉरिटीप्रमाणे आपण मॅन्युफॅक्चर करणार डिव्हाइसला आणि
तुम्ही मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग करता की नाही कसं करणार त्याच्याप्रमाणे सगळंच करतात.
मग आपण मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंगचे ज्या गाईडलाईन्स असतील
तुमच्या कॉलेजच्या जे काही पॉलिसीज वगैरे त्याप्रमाणे तुम्ही हे करतात. पण तुमचं एक्झाम असते देन युअर स्टाफ ऑर युअर कॉलेज विल कम टू नो युअर विच रँक, राईट? सो इज देअर एनी मेकॅनिझम? हॅव यू हर्ड?
सर आपण
You
त्याच्यासाठी
heard that like market complaints comes, right? Market complaints comes or any, sometimes there is an audit, regulatory audit. There are regulatory audits are also happening, like you know, like USFDA. So there is regulatory audits are happening, and then maybe in that organization, in that particular unit. So that time, actually now USFDA not like authority will not come. They will outsource to other agency. There are CDRs and all that, some agencies are there. They are ensuring that you are there because they are coming visiting your unit and they are ensuring they will visit at your manufacturing unit. You know, they will see all the documentation process, whether you are compliant, not compliant, or you are making shortcuts, or just for sake you are just prepared for data. Is there any data integrity? Like with that mechanism, only you come to know whether you are on the your company whether is compliant or not, meeting the regulatory requirements, right? The quality assurance code is very important.
Next, P8.
So good afternoon everyone. The topic of my presentation is key challenges in meeting regulatory requirements of medical devices. So let's get started with the introduction. So let's get started with the introduction. Medical devices are any instrument, implant or tool which can be intended to use for medical purposes alone or with other devices. Manufacturing these are quite difficult as companies need to comply with many regulatory guidelines which can be quite hectic. So, and the third point, these protocols are necessary to follow, but these add more layers of complexities into it. Now, the fourth point, compliance requires quite a number of the resources, which can be quite costly for the small startups. And fifth point, companies, in order to foster the medical device market, companies must adapt to this key challenges. Now, these are the following key challenges for the medical devices in regulatory field. So, the first key challenge is complex and evolving regulations. And first point, increased compliance cost for product development. Due to these complex and evolving regulations, companies have to follow extra steps which are very costly for them, and frequent updates in regulatory guidelines also also increase themselves, which causes delay in product launch into the market. And global variability in regulations. Due to it, companies, there are different regulatory guidelines across all over the world in different regulatory bodies. And due to these different standards, company need more time to develop the product according to them. So this may need very much time. And fourth point, following these needs number of resources, which can be quite hectic for the small companies. And even after product launch into the company, it can be recalled and withdrawn at any moment when the fault is found in medical devices. Now, at the side of this slide, there are certain regulatory bodies across the world. And so now let's see the case study. Due to safety concerns, Philips had to recall millions of CPAP, continuous positive airway and ventilator devices in 2022 due to stricter MDR, and due to it, its recertification requirements delayed their updated products and impacted availability and increasing costs. Now, second key challenge, lengthy and costly approval processes. So first key point in it is due to this there are extra steps which needs to be followed under the regulatory guidelines, which are high in cost, and these increase the timeline for the approval and the pre-market approval requirements. And as the regulatory guidelines keep on updating, the time required to go through this process increases on the great high. And regulatory variability of global regulatory bodies. As there are different regulatory bodies across the world, in Japan it is different, and China it is different. They have different regulatory guidelines. So, in order to fit their product into their category, companies need to work differently from their perspective. Now, the fourth point, limited fast track approval. Only class 1 devices can go through limited fast track approval in the regulations, while other classes devices cannot. Now, third party testing dependency. Due to dependency on the external labs, it increases the cost and also the time. Now, at the side of the slide, there is a small medical device approval process. First, idea is design, prototype development, then preclinical testing, then clinical trials, and after that regulatory submission, then after that market approval. And all of these steps may take a significant amount of time. Now, the third key challenge is risk management and safety standards. Now, first key point is hazard identification. Identify device related to threats. If we identify hazards on time, then we can also solve it and pass the regulatory process quite fast. And risk assessment to analyze impact and likelihood of hazards. And if we access the risk before time and before regulatory approval, we can pass through the trials quite quickly. And risk control to mitigate identified risk. And fourth point, residual risk evaluation for post-risk mitigation. And even after the product launch into the market, we have to keep looking for the risk and to solve the and post-market surveillance. Even after the launching, even when the product launches into the market, still we have to monitor it to identify this
have to firstly we have to identify potential risks. Then we have to assess risk severity and their probability. Then we have to implement and controlling measures. Then we have to verify its effectiveness. Then document and report findings. Now finally, let's go through the case. In 2025, Johnson & Johnson temporarily halted the sales of its wearable devices after the reporting of the strokes, and after the investigation was confirmed, device functionality and its usage guidelines were updated and resumed for the further distribution. Now our four key challenges: clinical evidence and testing. Regulatory, now first point, regulatory compliance adhering to evolving standards like FDA and MDR is essential. These are some. Now second key point, trial design complexity. Crafting robust trials with clear endpoints is challenging. To craft any trials with specific for getting a specific result is quite challenging. Patient recruitment. Gathering perfect patients for clinical or preclinical trials is quite time consuming as well as resource consuming. Data quality issues. Ensuring accurate and reliable data is critical for device. For getting accurate and reliable data is quite essential for the devices. Ethical consideration. For balancing innovation with patient safety and informed consent is paramount. It's very necessary. So, beside this slide, there is a simple clinical testing process. Firstly, concept and discovery. Then pre-clinical testing is done. Then phase 1 trials. After that, phase 2 trials. After that, phase 3 trials. And after that, regulatory review. And finally, the post-market surveillance. Now, case study. In 2025, Troy World developed a policy for tricuspid resuscitation after 7 years of research and trials in Poland. They received FDA approval for study, highlighting the need to go through the thorough testing of medical devices. Now, cyber security and data protection in medical devices. IoT vulnerability. Due to our device being connected through the internet, I will just show these slides which I have prepared. Thank you.
Next participant P9.
So, good afternoon everyone. My topic of presentation is key challenges in meeting regulatory requirements for medical devices, and code of my presentation is P10. So, basically, this presentation is aimed to provide a comprehensive overview of regulatory requirements in medical devices. So, starting with contents, introduction, then stages, development and manufacturing of medical devices, complex and evolving regulations, pre-market challenges, clinical trial challenges, vigilance and post-market challenges, challenges of change control in medical devices, then strategies to overcome it, then conclude. Starting with introduction. So basically, we all know about medical devices. Medical devices covers from broad spectrum, like from narrow spectrum to like bandages to more complex devices like AI devices. This overview of the presentation is regulatory framework to ensure the safety, effectiveness and quality standards of devices. Then regulations cover designs, manufacturing, clinical evaluation, labeling, post-market surveillance and reporting of ADRs, adverse events. Government and international organizations establish the regulatory pathways for patient safety and innovations. Importance of compliance of safety and market entry. So protect the patient environment, avoid the legal and financial risks, enable the global market entry and business growth. As in morning session, Bhamre sir has told one examples of prosthetic implants. in which the ingredient is causing only the ingredient which are used to treat the cancer ingredient silicons like it is causing cancer. So due to this the regulatory bodies have been established. Then these are the stages of development and manufacturing of medical devices. Stage 1, start of device development, analysis of opportunity and risk. Stage 2, financial viability assessment, prototype and concept formulation. Stage 3, design, validation, verification and prototype development to meet the regulatory requirement. Stage 4, final validation of product, test, pre-launch and approved by the competent authority. Stage 5, launch of the product and post-launch assessment. These are the challenges, complex and evolving regulations. In various countries have their various regulating bodies, like in US FDA. These are the regulatory classification and pre-market approval in USS. Then other approval challenges like 510K for the class 1 for class 1 devices. Then de novo classification for novel devices for class 2 and class 3 devices, and other that is QS, that is quality system regulation system. And other body is like European Europe, that is EMA, European Medical Agencies, and notified body. It ensures the compliance with medical device regulation in EU. Also the CE market, that is the competence in Europe. It is the meets the all European Union regulations for market approvals. Then IMDRF, that is International Medical Device Regulator Forums. It aims to harmonize regulatory practices globally. Means जे काही फॉल्स प्रॅक्टिस होता ते अवॉइड करण्यासाठी ही जी बॉडी आहे ती. देन अदर स्पेसिफिक अँड एशिया पॅसिफिक अँड अदर रिजन्स कंट्रीज लाईक जापान PMDA, China NMPA, in India CDSO have unique regulatory bodies and processes. Then clinical trial challenges. Clinical trials is done to provide the safety, effectiveness and regulatory compliance of the especially high cost, high risk of the devices. First challenge is regulatory requirement of approval. In USA, like IDE, that is investigational device exemption is required before trial. High risk device for high risk device, that is PMC, post marketing and clinical follow up is required. For low risk, that is 510K is required. In Europe, that is EU MDR is body, China NMPA, in India CDSO, and other countries have their own regulating body. If the product is FDA approved, then also the local bodies are there. Then patient recruitment and retention, as in morning session, Bangladesh sir also told that there. In clinical challenge, that is major challenge is patient recruitment and retention, because in specific device we need specific disease patient only to cure. And then next challenge is study design complexity. In this study design complexity, the device has its own uniqueness. To identify the effectiveness of this device, we have to design such a type of data, which this data is very complex to demonstrating clinical efficacy. Data management and ethical safety concerns. In data management, we get a large volume of data from devices. To that a large number of data is collected and integrated by the system. Ethical safety concerns requires that the informed consent of patient, and also patient should know that what is the risk associated with this device on clinical trials on patients. Then cost and funding constraint. Cost and funding means clinical trials right from the product development, the product requires a lot of cost, and due to this cost challenges, there is one challenge in clinical trials, technical and innovation barrier. Means right from the data collection to complex device integration, decentralized trial design, all are the technical innovation barrier. Then reporting and dissemination. These are the next type marketing challenges. First is technical document. as we have seen the technical document like risk assessment, clinical trial protocols, all these technical documents are required for pre-market challenges. Then market research helps to overcome the challenges in pre-market development such as the requirement, target market, safety concern, etc. Then risk management, identifying analysis potential for the hazardous condition. Then complexities of regulatory framework, as we have seen the various regulatory bodies. Then quality management system, the quality products shall be introduced. For this we need the various validations, protocols and documentations. Clinical trial requirement, for clinical trial requirements, as we have seen what are the challenges. Then labeling instructions, the instruction for the devices, how to use, where to use, their precautions, and all are challenges. Then these are the vigilance and post-market challenges, documenting post-market surveillance and post-marketing clinical follow-up, adverse event reporting and vigilance system, device recall and corrective actions, cyber security and data protection challenges, complaint handling and customer feedback, quality management system, compliance, importance of monitoring after approval, global market compliance. Then these are the changes, control of medical device. Will do any changes in medical devices. These are the challenges like validation and testing, supply chain consideration, product life cycle management, adherence to design control, training and competency, risk management, communication and collaboration, documentation and record keeping, global regulatory variances, regulatory compliance. And these are some strategies to overcome. This only not only this strategy, there are more strategy, but by using this strategy we can overcome some of the problems. Proactive regulatory intelligence, investing in robust QMS and risk management system, delivering digital tools for compliance management. Then concluding, meeting regulatory requirement for medical devices is a complex, challenging task. By understanding the key challenges, medical device manufacturers can better navigate framework and ensure compliance. Thank you.
What comes under QMS system? Quality management system. What comes? And QMS quality management system defines what actually means by quality management.
त्याच्यामध्ये क्लिनिकल ट्रायलचे डॉक्युमेंट्स असते, परत क्लिनिकल ट्रायल प्रोटोकॉल्स असतील.
Next participant P13.
Presentation is breaking barriers, overcoming regulatory challenges with innovation under the theme of global efforts towards harmonizing medical device regulation. Here I have taken a specific disease device which is under neurology. So I will today present slides under neurologic devices. So slide contains of starting from what are neurologic devices till how regulatory guidelines are needed and key advancements. So starting with what are neurologic devices, they are medical technological devices that are designed to assess any medical problem or to treat or to diagnose. So they are also classified as therapeutic devices, diagnostic devices and rehabilitation devices. So under therapeutic devices, some novel devices are deep brain simulations. Under rehabilitation devices, they are neuroprosthetics, and under diagnostic devices, they are common example is MRI device. And as devices are getting updated day by day, proper rule of regulation is being followed for safety and efficacy and for ethical use. Moving forward with classification of devices. So these devices are mostly classified according to FDA guidelines, which is class 1, class 2 and class 3. Class 1 is low risk devices. Generally EEG headsets, means they are non-invasive but for local use they are used. Class 2, which are moderate risk device, which are also partially non-invasive. Common example for class 2 devices, transcranial magnetic stimulation device, which is a non-invasive device. It uses magnetic field to stimulate the specific area in the brain by delivering a short amount of magnetic current. And for class 2, the regulatory requirements are 510K guidelines. Previously, pre-market PMA guidelines were followed, but recently they are changed to 510K guidelines. Class 3, which are high risk guidelines, they are invasive, and for that PMA guidelines are used. Also post-marketing surveillance, through post-marketing surveillance, the guidelines are followed. And as 510K guideline is introduced for class 2 devices, it is bypassing the pre-market approval application, so that devices after manufacturing directly can be released into the market. So here are some example of novel neurological devices. First is brain-computer interferences. These are recently launched devices which some type of electrodes are prepared and they are spread all over the brain, and through machine learning and AI, they can directly interact with the brain signals, and also can be used for therapeutic purposes like in Parkinson's disease or to detect the seizures. Next is portable brain monitoring devices. They are also non-invasive, and electrodes are placed and they are used for assessing the neurological disorders. Next is brain therapy without surgery. So nowadays FDA is more approaching towards the non-invasive devices. So they have more eye towards the non-invasive nature of devices and can be used for rehabilitation. So without surgery, there is scope for treatment of brain disorders. So moving towards the next slide. Here I have shown the comparison of some old guidelines over the new guidelines with respect to regulatory aspects. So for clinical evaluations, there was the dependence of only pre-market trials, and according to FDA new guidelines, there is real world evidence is used. In real world evidence, there are mobile applications or portable devices which are now used in clinical trial programs, and it is fostering the clinical trials, and in life-threatening conditions, the drugs or any devices which can be used for the treatment, they can be released into the market. Next is software. With respect to software and AI, according to FDA, there was very limitations before, but now softwares as medical devices are used. So through softwares there can be regulation there can be assessing, treatment, diagnosing, also prevention of disease. And problem with the old guidelines were they were slow in approval processes due to lengthy pre-market trials. There was a lack of cyber security focus, and regulatory pathways also had very slow approvals. New recent guidelines are according through FDA is FDA Breakthrough Device Program, which describes that which are developed for medical devices which are used in life-threatening conditions. Means if device has the probability and efficiency in treating a certain device, so they FDA has access to release them into the market, but for that post-marketing surveillance is used. Moving with the next slide. So, advancement in regulatory guidelines is FDA has currently used AI and machine learning devices and real-world evidence evaluations. They are mostly used in clinical trial programs to assure fast market release of drugs, and so impact of these regulations are fast clinical trials, AI protection is enabled, and try of FDA is to global harmonization. There are efforts taken to align and standardize the regulatory requirements for medical devices across the countries, and FDA is trying to reduce the international trade barriers, keeping same guidelines, and many devices can be worldwide accessed without any regulation or without following the different criteria of regulatory requirements. Through global harmonization program, under single guidelines, all the devices could be sold into the market. Future prospects in the device regulation is virtual clinical trials. This is very famously used during the COVID era. FDA has used virtual trials in COVID era. Means patient will be sitting at his home. He will not have to every time go to the trial centers, and through softwares or portable devices provided by the FDA, the regulatory authorities will assess what all changes are taking place, and multiple trials can be taken at with single device. Also, there are many regulations. FDA is also moving towards blockchain security program. So, as systems are getting upgraded, security is to be provided. Challenges, very traditional challenges, security threat and regulatory lag, but under global harmonization program, these regulatory challenges are now getting smooth. Thank you.
Next participant.
Next P15.